Once, our estate was the envy of this land.
Hello everyone, Science Viking here, and it is time to return to Darkest Dungeon. I basically have enough cash to put together one mission, so let's see what we can do. I have no invitations, so I can't enter the courtyard. I could potentially begin the harvest, but since it's a level 6 mission, I don't think it'd be a good idea to do that with level 5 people who have high stress. So let's see what my options are here. I got a lot of newbies that could use some experience. So let's see, I can get some crests and a moon cloak. Quite a few deeds and a fasting seal, which just completely removes the need of one hero for food. That could actually be very useful. And alternatively, a quick draw charm, which is marginally useful, but since they're all long, apparently, I'm going to go after this one, because 9 deeds is also more valuable than 9 crests, and they all give the same amount of gold. Alright, so we're going to the Warrens, so inflicting blight isn't likely to be too useful. So let's bring the whatever the name of this class is, the flagellant. Let's see, what can I bring for healing? I have a Vestal with extremely high stress and a plague doctor, or a occultist with very low stress. Alongside that, let's bring a bounty hunter and a houndmaster. That's a decently balanced composition. And yeah, this is telling me that I have the Sun Ring, which is actually pretty good. Anyway, as usual, unequip all trinkets, sort by character class. Let me check something. I have Hound's Watch, so I actually have an ability to prevent nighttime ambushes. As usual, the occultist gets a severed head and a worry stone. One of these days, I'm actually going to get the Ancestor's Scroll, and then I won't have to use Junia's head anymore. Let's see. The Houndmaster gets a steady bracer because I believe the Hound is, yeah, the Hound is ranged. It's a steady bracer, and I'm gonna go with the evidence of corruption. We've had some serious problems due to being surprised. As for the bounty hunter, Crime Lord's molars could be very useful because it deals extra damage to marked and bleeding, and I already have 2 other heroes that are good at inflicting both. I'm not counting the occultist as being good at inflicting bleeding because this is about inflicting bleeding on the enemy. And let's see. I could give him the Sun Ring. I'm actually just going to give him the Legendary Bracer. I want the largest boost to damage that I can get. And for the Flagellant, let's go with Eternity's Collar and Resurrection's Collar. And I don't have the ability to change the abilities on the Flagellant. I don't have a lot of stunning abilities, so I'll trade Finish him for Mark for Death. And for the Occultist, Weakening Curse, Weird Reconstruction, Vulnerability, Hex, and Demon's Pull. That looks about right. Okay, let's see if this is let's see if we can survive this. I don't need to bring any of the blood because nobody has the Crimson Curse in this team. I do need to bring plenty of the food, though. I mustn't forget the torches. Bring a full 16 of them. Plenty of opportunity for medicinal herbs, some opportunity for skeleton keys, a little for holy water. Bring much anti-venom and many bandages. And shovels. Don't forget shovels. Okay, that should be doable. Let's see if we can survive this mission, guys. I mean, it is a long mission with a team of noobs, so it's very easy for these kinds of things to go wrong.
To prosecute our war against the swine, we must first scout their squalid homes.
Okay, there's going to be a little bit of backtracking. Not too much, but there's going to be some. Having an elevated scouting chance is going to be very helpful, though. Still nothing so far. Okay, this is, yeah, bandages.
If only treasure could staunch the flow of otherworldly corruption.
Okay, no scouting this time. I am going to go after this room because it's the least costly to do so right at the beginning of the mission. And we're going to need to go into some of these dead-end rooms.
Are often low on supplies.
Okay, we surprised them. How many of them can we kill before they get a turn? Let's see. Punish on the one in the front. 3 to 6 plus bleeding. Bleeding for 4. Hound's rocked on this one. So if I go for vulnerability hex on the wretch, I guarantee that it dies to the bounty hunter. And then the other two will just die next turn.
Destroyed.
So the number I can get rid of in one round is 1. Though this wretch isn't looking too good. Who am I kidding? Swine wretches never look good. I also can't stop noticing the fact that the skull inside its body is opening and closing its mouth. Lacking a better idea, weird reconstruction.
A death by inches.
And punish.
Press this advantage. Give them no quarter.
And we found some of the blood. Well, for that, I'll drop the 3rd stack of food. We only need 2 stacks. Let me see something. Also, this Houndmaster has access to Cry Havoc. I'm going to equip that. I think I'm going to need it. I also find, now that I have a Mark Exploitation hero who's comfortable in position 2, or position 1 for that matter, I can finally start bringing Houndmasters in position 3, which means I'll have Houndmasters who can actually use Cry Havoc. The problem is I keep placing the Houndmaster in position 2 because I didn't have access to bounty hunters who are good position 1 Mark Exploiters. And when I do a Mark Exploitation team, I want to fit as many of them as I... Gatekeeper! I have a Gatekeeper! I can get another invitation! I was just talking about that earlier this episode, and now I can finally get one. I'm also about to have an Afflicted Houndmaster. Okay. Who do I want to remove the most? Let's see. This also reduces the target's dodge if it connects. So let's go with the guy with dodge of 21. And he dodges it! I suppose I should have expected that. I'm just gonna have the Houndmaster move back, because that guarantees that the bounty hunter will be in position.
Onslaught.
And that's one enemy down.
Them all.
I mean, one isn't a lot, but you have to take what you can get. The thirst. At least it wasn't maddening wine. Maddening... I don't know. Giving the Crimson Curse to another hero is still pretty bad, but maddening wine on the guy whose stress level is 96 would probably have been worse. Oh, he blighted himself because he when it used the thirst on the Houndmaster, it cured the Houndmaster's blight and gave the blight to the Sycophant. Yeah, let's just come hither. Mostly setting up for next turn, because I am going to use Cry Havoc to try to reduce the Houndmaster's stress. It's not likely to make much of a difference, but I've got to do something, and the Sycophant will die next turn on its own. Like
The
so.
slow death. Unforeseen. Unforgiving.
These guys have actually very poor bleed resistance. So Punish can get them in a couple of turns. May as well go with Weird Reconstruction. I mean, he's already bleeding. He's also bleeding for very little damage. Okay, Hound's Rush on this Supplicant, because that plus Punish should actually get rid of him, and Collect Bounty should be able to handle this one all by itself.
Obliterated.
Technically, there was a small chance of it kill him, but I'll take the risk.
Foolish horrors. Brought low and driven into the mud.
Trade the Holy Water for the Viscount's Invitation, and I'm going to hold on to the rest of my supply items for now. And I'm actually going to go after these cocoons to get another invitation. And I know what I'm getting myself into, which doesn't necessarily make much of a difference. And cue the Affliction. Exactly the right number of, exactly the number of stress points that it
gasping,
took.
Taken over the edge into
He was at
madness.
93 and he took 7 points. Okay. Let's target Whistle the Gatekeeper. And punish the Supplicant. I do find myself wishing that Punish did just a little bit more direct damage. Okay, he resisted the move effect. Okay, Weird Reconstruction. Though, with the number of heroes that have lasting stress these days, I really need to upgrade my stress treatment facilities. A little bit more damage to the Supplicant and it'll die. Unfortunately, just a little bit more damage to the Houndmaster and he will die. Punish has a pretty small chance to kill, but not 0. Weird, no other choice but Weird Reconstruction. Elucidate. Damn it!
Gnawing uncertainty.
That means we don't.
Place of dread.
That means we don't get an invitation, doesn't it? I didn't know he could do that, but apparently he can do that. Wonderful. Which means the Affliction was entirely pointless and could have been avoided. Well, I had no way of knowing that at the time. It was worth trying. Thirst, which is going to cause you to inherit his blight. Punish on the one that's farther from death, and it is still equally far from death. Okay, the Houndmaster is getting into the point where he's going to have a heart attack. And I'm not allowed to heal him, apparently. I guess the Houndmaster just knows that he's going to end up bleeding with 0 healing. And so he just decided not to risk it. Okay.
Great is the weapon that cuts on
We're
its
cutting
own.
through them. We're just doing it embarrassingly slowly.
Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles.
It will die next turn if it doesn't heal itself, and it doesn't heal itself. This one does. Okay, let's go with just heal yourself. I've very rarely used Lick Wounds, but it is helpful sometimes. And let's add Reclaim to that. And whatever the name of this hero class is, the Flagellant, that's what they're called, actually managed to make himself bleed. He usually avoids that. Okay, Bombing Run does not heal the Sycophant. That's the good news.
Slowly.
Unfortunately, that's all of the good news. All the other
This
news is
how
bad.
life is taken.
Okay, Punish. Okay.
These
Well-
nightmarish creatures can be felled. They can be beaten.
I will admit, as frustrating as that just was, it did net us 12 crests, so I'll actually drop the 1,700 gold for that. So there's at least some good news. There's a lot of bad news, but there's at least some good news. And more scouting, too. That is also good news. So I complained about not having enough invitations, and now they're just, like, coming out of the walls and stuff. I'm not risking another one of those with someone afflicted. Who am I kidding? I am absolutely risking another one of those with somebody afflicted. I know it's a bad idea, but this is just the channel of bad ideas. I'm doing it anyway. Okay, this is actually a relatively straightforward group, which means it's definitely going to end in tears. Because the easier something should be, the worse it ends up going. Okay, the main issue is the relatively high likelihood of a heart attack. Step 1, kill the gatekeeper first. I need him gone, because that way he can't, Wonderful. That way he can't run away and inflict horror on everyone. Okay, that's the gatekeeper. Now we just have to deal with the manservant and the
offensive.
Whatever it's called. I'm just gonna stick with weird reconstruction. And collect bounty can reach the manservant. Well, yeah, it can't hit him, but it can reach him. Thirst. Could be another case of the Crimson Curse. It isn't, though. Okay, and it's our old friend, Infallible Servitude. Alright, well, screw it. Target Whistle. Let's reduce that. Let's get rid of that protection boost, at least part of it. And start with some punishment. Not sure how helpful that would be. Now let's follow that up with Collect Bounty. And yeah, Punish was completely unnecessary. I could have just used Reclaim. Alright, Vulnerability Hex. And with 10 dodge, it still manages to avoid Vulnerability Hex. Sort of all really needs to work on his aim. I think the problem is that in his past life he was a man-at-arms, so he still doesn't really have the aiming thing down. Okay. Demon's Pull, so it's within range of Collect Bounty. We don't like you either. It's also within range of Punish. And since it didn't resist the bleeding, so there we go. I don't even need you to hit anymore, Bounty Hunter.
As the fiend falls, a faint hope blossoms.
Okay. There's really nothing that I can afford to drop in exchange for the 4 crests. I'll risk it anyway. And it's not worth. That was entirely not worth it. Okay, let's get the Houndmaster away from Heart Attack's door with a quick feast.
Gathered close in tenuous firelight, an uneasy companionship.
Hound's Watch. And Therapy Dog does not affect you yourself. And nobody else has any abilities that reduce stress, so the feast was the only thing we were capable of doing to reduce stress. Wonderful. Well, may as well use Therapy Dog to benefit everyone else, but unfortunately I don't... I really need man's best friend on this guy. May as well go for Release the Hound. Or not. Okay. Okay, for a second I was worried the Houndmaster was going to have a heart attack mid-camp. Seriously, for a second, when they all took that stress hit, I was worried the Houndmaster was about to have a heart attack while we were all in the camp.
Such blockages are unsurprising. These tunnels predate even the earliest settlers.
Okay. I do have another log, but I'm going to need to hold on to that for a little while, because we have a long trek ahead of us, and the stress levels are already dangerous. I mean, not just the afflicted, and not just the Houndmaster is about to have a heart attack. Everybody except the Flagellant, the guy who can take it, has too much stress. The Flagellant is fine, and everyone else is falling apart at the seams. Okay, Rain of Sorrows bleeds 3 for 3. They have 6, so this guarantees that they get to act once and then they're gone.
Be gone.
Get rid of one maggot immediately. And Demons Pull does 2 to 4, so okay, we have one maggot we actually have to deal with, and then one that will attack once and then die. All he said was "ow," and it stressed everyone out. Okay, and they're really concentrating on the guy who's about to have a heart attack. Lovely. May as well use Weird Reconstruction, and no I can't. Vulnerability Hex? Ah, great, another grave nibble. Whoa!
Unnerved, unbalanced.
He truly has been gravely nibbled. Okay, that's the end of the maggot. That's the end of all of the maggots. It's just a matter of time. And occasionally using Collect Bounty just because I can.
This expedition at least promises success.
I need to use Reclaim on the Houndmaster. I really, really need to use Reclaim on the Houndmaster. Because Reclaim will get... The regenerating health from Reclaim will make it so that he doesn't... So that if he has a heart attack and it knocks him down to death's door, he doesn't immediately die. Or at least it reduces the probability that he immediately dies. So let's just hit him with Reclaim now. And I just need to keep that active on him for a while. Just indefinitely. Okay. Yeah, Vulnerability Hex is the one that marks. Do that. Debuff is fundamentally irrelevant. But he will die to quick. That would have... He would have survived that if it wasn't for the 1 damage caused by Vulnerability Hex. The debuff moves don't normally matter that much. Stick with Cry Havoc. I have had some amazing luck with Cry Havoc this mission. That's actually been really helpful.
Death waits for the slightest lapse in concentration.
Okay, and we had the heart attack. And now the Bounty Hunter's Resolve is tested. Ah, shit. That is probably the worst possible... okay, I'm going with Rain of Sorrows on the Wretch just to progress us towards being rid of it. Collect Bounty on the Brawler. Good. Oh, the critical we needed. And Weird Reconstruction. Please don't kill him. Oh, come on. Okay, go with Vulnerability Hex. And that also failed. This occultist just has the worst luck. He consistently fails to contribute anything. Okay, sticking with Reclaim, and now he's bleeding for 6. Normally he resists the bleeding he inflicts on himself, but apparently not today. Okay, Weird Reconstruction again, and I'm allowed to do it this time. But yeah, having one be afflicted and come out abusive, meaning he's constantly causing stress to his teammates, is not a good combination with another one that's right next to death due to heart attack. That is a really dangerous combination of afflictions to have. Well, the first one isn't really the specific affliction, just how high his stress level is. Wonderful, and we have an enemy that specializes in inflicting stress. Okay. Now start by getting rid of the chopper, because with this combo I should actually be able to do that. And in the meantime, Rain of Sorrows will gradually get rid of this group. That is exactly what I was afraid would happen. And Vomit on the same guy. And it's a critical. And it's a guaranteed heart attack. Yep. Okay, this is bad. That is even worse. Let's go with Vulnerability Hex on the Madman. And it failed. This is sort of all. Look, the world's most ineffective occultist. I mean, most of it isn't his fault even, but he just keeps failing to accomplish anything every time he tries. Every time he tries something, it just fails to happen. Okay, Collect Bounty.
Eradicated.
Did what Collect Bounty is supposed to do. Unfortunately, Vomit did what Vomit is supposed to do.
Injury and despondence set the stage for heroism.
Okay, Doomsday. That at least doesn't inflict damage, I think. Okay, stick with trying weird reconstruction. I really could have used a higher number than that, especially if you're going to inflict bleeding. Okay, Hound's Rush only does 5 to 8, but I think I can make that work combined with... No, I can't. Even Rain of Sorrows doesn't do enough direct damage to make up the difference. Reclaim. Okay, he finally resisted his own bleeding effect. And yeah, I mainly just needed...
The ground quakes.
And the bounty hunter is finally just venting his frustrations on the enemy. I mainly just needed Reclaim to cancel out the bleeding of the bounty hunter because I no longer have the means to cure it. And another heart attack.
And now the true test. Hold fast or expire.
And the occultist resolve is test. He's also abusive. Wow. This mission just, wow.
Compassion.
And now we get a 0. At least it's not a 0 and bleeding, it's just a 0 healing. Let's just try to end this fight before someone dies. That's really the best I can hope for. Okay. Hook where it hurts managed to miss, but I have 2 people at critical health and 3 people afflicted. Alright, and he can't use Reclaim on himself. And I am out of bandages. Rain of Sorrows.
Remind yourself that overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer.
Okay, we're lighting up the firewood. May as well use the
Huddled
supply
together,
items. We're feasting.
Furtive and vulnerable. Rats in
Absolutely
a maze.
need Hound's Watch. And Therapy Dog. I can't... Okay. Not only am I denied the opportunity to use Therapy Dog...
As the light gains purchase, spirits are lifted.
Even the camping
and
managed to
purpose
go
is made
wrong.
clear.
Though, admittedly, the camping going wrong was expected with how many people are afflicted right now. Okay, this grants a buff. Okay, so the booze grants a buff, so let's use the booze, and I believe the buff is to attack power. Yes, it is. Okay, we have a trap. Person with the highest stress, disarm the trap to reduce the stress. I now have a... Now the bounty hunter's stress level is getting up to the point where he's in danger of having heart attacks, and the flagellant is in danger of having his resolve tested, and we know he'll be afflicted because he always is. Though Rapturous is somewhat of a mixed bag when it comes to that, obviously. But just... And I have another gatekeeper! And of course, they open up with stress, with a stress ability on the person with the highest stress. Which triggers multiple affliction. Ah, shit. I'm not sure how I'm going to get out of this one. Retreating will cause heart attacks. Okay, Target Whistle won't reduce his dodge. Hound's Rush won't kill him, nor will it kill the Sycophant, but I can at least get started on the Sycophant. Vulnerability Hex will reduce his dodge, except it won't hit because of the occultist having poor accuracy. Free Digestion does not cause stress, it only causes a lot of damage. Oh, never mind! Because of the afflictions, it now also causes stress, because every time that a hero fails at something, that causes them to take stress damage. Okay, that missed. I really needed that one to miss. And now another hero has the Crimson Curse. Lovely. Fortunately, they're all still passive. Okay, Elusive Exit, which also knocked one of us onto Death's Door. Okay, I have a plan. It's very specific. I need one of 2 things to happen. I need either for the Houndmaster to let me heal him with Weird Reconstruction, or for the Houndmaster to get a heal. Either will work. Okay, I'm allowed to heal him. Now we're retreating.
A wise general cuts losses.
And that's why.
And regroups.
Because apologize for the cough. Because the Houndmaster having a heart attack is fine as long as he isn't at death's
Sublimity
door.
of the intelligence. Oh, so it has been said.
Okay, we are not capable of finishing this mission in our present condition. However, the heroes suffering the stress of defeat is fundamentally meaningless because they're all afflicted.
A setback, but not the end of things.
We got 1,300 gold, plus whatever we had left after buying supplies, and we did get a decent number of heirlooms. We did get 2 invitations. Getting to keep the invitations is actually a major part. Plus 20... Natural. Increased max HP, healing received, and speed when wearing no trinkets. Huh. But... yeah, they're all max. They're all at 100 stress now.
Perhaps things are not as bad as they seem.
One good week. Okay, the good news is we finally have invitations and have a decent supply of, heirlooms with which to upgrade things. The bad news is I don't even have enough gold for stress treatment. Damn! I have a decent pool of people to choose from who have low or no stress. But... a quick upgrade.
A man in a robe, claiming communion with the divine.
Quick upgrade some of my stress treatment
Madness.
facilities. I've been neglecting them a little bit. And however, after that, I'm going to hold on to my trinkets because I also want to be able to upgrade my equipment a bit better. But wow, I wasn't prepared for things to go that wrong. Anyway. This isn't the end of the episode, but I am going to get a fresh recording file. I will be back in a moment.
We dug for months, years, an eternity, and we were rewarded with madness.
Okay, I am back. Now let's see if I can solve our funding situation. Do we have any short missions? Okay, we have a short mission we can take on in the Warrens. Okay, sort by level. Okay, so I can bring a bounty hunter, a man-at-arms, a grave robber, and I don't have a lot of other options that are aren't about to lose their minds from stress. So let's go with, let's see, I'll go with the Plague Doctor. The ability to, let's see, that would, battlefield medicine would be helpful if the Plague Doctor had battlefield medicine. Let's see, I can use Flashing Dagger, Thrown Daggers, and Poison Dart from position 4. So... and I can use all of the Bounty Hunter's abilities from position 3. So let's just put the Flagellant in position 2. Okay, this is viable only because we're doing an apprentice level mission. Okay, we need a little bit of food, a little bit of torch, a little bit of shovel, but not very much shovel, a little bit of medicinal herbs, and we have to sell some trinkets. Let's see. I don't need 2 dodgy sheaths, and that should make up the difference. Some antivenom, some bandages, a key. We're only bringing 1. This is a short mission, so we should be able to get away with that. Okay, we are broke. Let's try at the end of this mission to be not broke. Yeah, for the previous mission, I essentially traded all of the money in exchange for a couple of invitations.
To prosecute our war against the swine, we must first scout their squalid homes.
Okay, this is a pretty generous map layout. That's good. We get a guaranteed couple thousand gold just for finishing the mission. That's helpful. Though, I may have asked this question before, but I do have to wonder, who is paying us? Like, who is seeing that we've completed quests and giving us rewards in exchange for doing so? And I don't have any holy water because I couldn't afford it. Okay. Almost to our first battle. Let's see if we can survive this one. And we've already had our first hunger. Hopefully we only have one. Well... Actually, no. Hunger isn't a big deal, especially if we run into those lunch wagons. Drums of debilitation, and it even missed. Alright, an idea. I'm going to start by marking the wretch. And then hitting it with thrown dagger, which didn't kill. Yeah, let's ramp out the brawler, see if we can get the stun. It's low stun resistance. And let's see, Reign of Sorrows bleeds for 3, so it would take 5 turns for the swine drummer to die from Reign of Sorrows. And 3 turns for the brawler. I'm actually going to go for that. It's a slow process, but it's at least a way of getting started on getting rid of those 2. Except the brawler isn't bleeding. So, I mean, 5 turns, but only 2 uses of drums of debilitation to get rid of the drummer. Let's actually just use Crush on the chopper. This is part of a larger plan. Mark the chopper for death. That way the bounty hunter can finish him next turn.
And improvement.
Flashing daggers, get rid of the wretch, but it will leave a corpse. Reign of Sorrows, get rid of the cultist.
Is broken. Maintain the offensive.
And the drummer gets to act one more time before he dies. Of course, the main concern here is that the flagellant is our main healer.
Destroyed.
And the bounty hunter getting the traditional critical. Okay, thrown dagger. And that's the end of the drummer. And this is the moment that I realized I forgot to equip trinkets. Well, I was bound to forget something. Okay, we got some onyx and some arrows. And some cultists and a skeleton. Collect bounty does extra damage to humans, so let's see if I can one-shot the brawler. I can't. Let's see if flashing daggers can finish the job.
Continue the onslaught. Destroy them all.
Crush? Okay, that leaves just the bone rabble. Admittedly, punish is... There is really no point in using punish right now. I'm just going to use reclaim. I have been having much worse luck with reclaim than I usually do. Possibly because I'm using flagellants with unupgraded armor. I don't know what effect upgrading armor has on resistances. May as well use punish to finish
As
the job.
the fiend falls, a faint hope blossoms.
Skeletons are the reason I don't bring flagellants to the ruins, though. And I may have commented on this before also, but that bone thing looks exactly like the stress symbol. Wait, no it doesn't. It looks like the symbol that happens when the hounds when the hound drummers do their thing. That's different from the stress symbol. Never mind. I may have said it before, and I was wrong both times. And yeah, I'm just gonna keep on walking past those cocoons. If this wasn't the last gasp of the operation trying not to run out of money, I might take on the cocoon. But we already have 2...
In truth, I cannot tell how much time has passed since I sent that letter.
Okay, I am back, and I even have working sound this time. Yeah, I accidentally hit the mute button on my microphone partway through that last mission. Anyway, we managed it with no fatalities, but we basically just have enough gold to fund another mission. So, I'm going to need to, oh, that's new. So, I'm going to need to go on another mission, and that mission is going to have to include a, antiquarian to get us the big bucks. Also, a new ancestral trinket. The Ancestor's Vintage. It delays the curse crate. That could be very helpful. But I don't want to go on a long mission, and I don't want to go on a relic mission. So I'm going to go on the medium length cleanse mission. So who do I bring? I don't have a crusader with medium levels of experience. So let's see. This is another one where I don't really have the team composition to make for a good team. So I have a Jester in position 3, mostly for stress and buffing abilities, because, you know, skeletons usually don't bleed. Combine that with a Hellion in position 1 and a Leper in position 2, and it's doable but not very good. Unequip all trinkets. As usual, we sort by class. Equip the Antiquarian with the Master's Essence. Let me see something. I'm going to bring the other Antiquarian, the one that has Fortifying Vigors. How do I transfer equipment from one person to another person? I've never had to do this before. Okay. And so that Antiquarian gets the Master's Essence. And while we're at it, the Carapace item. The Jester gets the Bright Tambourine, because most of what he's doing is going to be stress-related. And while we're at it, I'll just give him a Dodge Stone. Okay, for our Leper friend, you can't use the Redemption Armlet. He's going to need the Healing Armlet, because we don't have a lot of ability to heal. And honestly, the Warrior's Cap is probably the best bet. The Hellion absolutely gets the Lioness Warpaint. I have a feeling her health is going to end up somewhat low. And let's combine that with Heaven's Hairpin to reduce the stress intake that she's going to get because of the plus 10% stress. Okay, let's go find some funding. Alright. Need plenty of food because the ruins are rather barren in terms of food. Handful of shovels, a little anti-venom, and a few bandages, but not much of either. The free medicinal herbs are all the medicinal herbs we need. Bring a couple of holy waters and a decent supply of keys. And torches. Okay, I think we can do this. Let's try to end this mission without a disaster.
The fiends must be driven back. And what better place to begin than the seat of our noble line?
100% of room battles. This is... okay, this is not terribly bad of a map. It's just enough has managed to go wrong. I'm worried that it'll manage to fail this somehow. Okay, opening up with a ghoul doesn't exactly fill me with confidence. Okay, let's see if nervous stabs make up the difference to get rid of the cultist. It can. Alright. The good news is we're opening up with enemies that are susceptible to bleeding. The Jester will actually have something to do. This could definitely be worse. But it does make me uncomfortable to be fighting a ghoul with no stun abilities. Oh, the Enchantress does actually... I miscounted. The Enchantress has enough health to get one turn off. And it marked the target, too.
Okay. Slowly. Gently.
It's the end of the Enchantress.
This is how a life is taken.
Okay, 40% protection. I'm going to stick with if it bleeds. Still does pretty good damage, but, well, it bleeds. bleeding for 11. Festering Vapors deals 2 points. And there we go.
A victory. Perhaps the turning point.
Now we've already got our first antique. And that is the power of damage over time.
A handsome reward
Okay, the citrine can
for
stay
a
where
task
it
well
is.
performed.
One of these days I need to get the geologist's hall or whatever that district building is called. I'm still not touching the cocoons. That increases the maximum stack size of the different gems. Okay, I'll actually give up... You know what, I'll give up the holy water for the blood. That's a rather blasphemous choice, but... And it's another one of these! Okay, actually gonna open up with Harvest. Get some bleeding damage on both of them. Okay, Nervous Stab will not make up the difference, so I'm sticking with Festering Vapors on the ghoul, and it doesn't matter because it didn't do anything. This is what happens when we don't surprise the enemy. Okay, if it bleeds...
Their formation
And I don't even need the
broken.
bleeding damage.
Maintain the offensive.
Okay. And the leper continues doing what the leper does best, chopping things. Now we go for Slice Off. Accumulate the damage over time. One more hit with basically anything should do the job. Another if it bleeds, and there we go. Grab a torch for the left. Torch? That's a bandage. A torch will not fix bleeding. Do not use torches to cure bleeding. And Solemnity to restore the health you just lost. Right, Fortifying Vapor, which is the last little bit of healing to get the leper all the way up to full. Solemnity for no reason whatsoever. But because it allows me to use Inspiring Tune, because the Antiquarian stress level is getting a little high.
Of skill and purpose.
And Adrenaline Rush and hope for a critical. Nope, no luck.
The slow death. Unforeseen. Unforgiving.
I'm not willing to drop anything for those crests. And skeletons. Alright, now for the other function of the Jester, Battle Ballad. Nervous Stab might get the conscript, but it would need a critical to do so. I actually probably should have gone after the Bulwark to soften him up for the leper. Ow! Alright, Iron Swan, get rid of the marks.
Decimated.
And Hugh.
Press this advantage. Give them no quarter.
Okay, that's half of them gone already. Unfortunately, I have no means of stunning and no means of reducing protection with this team. On the other hand, between the Hellions' proclivity for Hellions' tendency to just kill everything, and the critical buffs that we're getting from Battle Ballad, I may not need it. No point doing anything other than Wicked Hack and hoping for a critical. And fundamentally the same thing with the Leopard, just with Chop.
Confidence surges as
Okay,
the
that
enemy
leaves
crumbles.
just the Spearman and some corpses. Stick with Fortifying Vapors. And stick with Battle Ballad. And let's go for If It Bleeds because it can at least reach the Spearman. And with the 26% chance to critical, that could happen.
Seize this momentum. Push on to the task's end.
Okay, I'm willing to drop my last torch for the rubies. But with the funding problems as bad as they are, I really do need to prioritize money. Jeez, I complain about cocoons once, and I get nothing but cocoons forever.
Waiting to be spent.
Let's go with that. Yeah, not bothering with the cocoons just yet. No! Not quite yet. You can tell this is the team that doesn't have elevated scouting chance. They are doing a good job of avoiding the traps so far.
Finding the stuff is only the first test. Now it must be carried home.
Okay, and we didn't surprise them, so they get they get a few moves before we get to do anything to them. Ah, it's our old friend, Tempting Goblet. Alright. The torch. Slice off will not kill, but it will make progress towards a kill. Okay, Nervous Stab won't finish the job by itself, but the cult... Okay, that will do it. The cultist is close enough to dying that I can ignore her now. Iron Swan one-shot. It has a decent chance of one-shotting, and we got it! Okay, that's the end of the stress skills. Now we just need to deal with the Gladiator and the Conscript. The only real concern is that the Gladiator uses Rend from the Old Gods on the Jester. So let's try to kill him before he does that. Like so.
Continue the onslaught. Destroy them all.
And Slice Off could kill, but it won't. Wait, no, it couldn't. He has more than 8 hit points. Alright, Fortifying Vapors on the Jester, just to slightly repair the damage he's taken. Alright, and Chop.
Obliterated.
Yeah, I'd say Obliterated is a pretty good description.
Remind yourself that overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer.
We're pretty near the end of the mission. I'm gonna start taking some larger risks when it comes to dropping things. Like that. None of that was probably a good idea, but I'm doing it anyway. The decorative urn, which could be dealt with... What happens if I use a shovel on it? That happens. Okay, note to self, don't use shovels there. Ah. Okay, we did need to come down here. And there's an heirloom chest.
In Radiance, may we find victory.
And stick with Fortifying Vapors on the Jester. And Hugh might get... No, it won't. Without a critical, Hugh will not get rid of either of them. Let's see if we can prevent Tempting Goblet. Okay, at least one thing went well this round. Alright. Again, the Jester just going into full Bard mode, sticking with Battle Ballad. There isn't much of this mission left. Again with Battle Ballad. It'd be real nice if the leper could go before the. I'm going to use Nervous Stab on the marksman. If the leper could go before the Hellion, but no such luck.
As the fiend falls.
On the other hand, critical if it bleeds cares not for your bleed resistance. Alright, and Hugh now might kill. It doesn't, but it might have. I do think there's a bit of irony in killing something, in using if it bleeds to kill something that does not bleed. Right, one more, and slice off the blue job.
Be wary. Triumphant pride precipitates a dizzying fall.
Let's just do a full-size meal. And I am going to use Reflection. And let's encourage the Jester. And we may as well use Every Rose Has Its Thorn for the reduced stress intake. And rest. Alright. Once again, make sure the Antiquarian is the one opening the chest.
Wealth beyond measure.
And that was rather
to the
successful.
brave and the foolhardy alike.
Okay, 4 more rooms. Worst case scenario, all of them have room battles, but that seems unlikely. But we're almost out of here.
If only treasure could staunch the flow of otherworldly corruption.
I'm not gonna risk dropping anything for those crests, as much as I want more crests.
Even the cold stone seems bent on preventing passage.
Okay, that's one room that doesn't have a room battle. Let's see how many more we can get that for. Salvage the unburnt torch, light it immediately, and grab another minor antique. We're getting close to the stack limit on... Well, I don't know, we're not that close. The stack limit is 20, but it always amazes me a little bit just how many of those we can have. Okay. Everybody who is not the leper, focus on the ghoul. Just inflict as much damage on the thing as we can. We can get rid of it relatively quickly.
Gnawing uncertainty. The birthplace of dread.
Even with protection that high, we can just overwhelm it with damage over time. The main issue is... Well, the main issue is getting rid of the ghoul. The secondary issue is dealing with the maggots. I almost said the maggots were the main problem. They're not. Okay, resistant. 40% bleed resistance. It resisted that. Well, it was bound to happen sooner or later. Okay, fortunately, I increased the leper's accuracy.
Another one falls.
And now the ghoul is all by himself. Somehow I don't think he minds too much. Okay, if it bleeds, could push us over the top, but this time it just manages to miss entirely. Okay. That just means it gets one extra action. Use Solemnity to cancel out the effects of horror. And there he goes.
Size alone does not dissuade the sharpened blade.
Okay, this time we have skeletons and a big skeleton. Here's hoping this is the last group. Okay, that was disappointingly not a one-shot, but festering vapors can make up the difference. Still have to deal with one
a dizzying
whirl.
blow to body and brain.
Yeah, I'll say. Okay, stick with Battle Ballad on the Jester. I know his physical ability, his bleed inflicting abilities do also inflict physical damage, but I think he's more helpful buffing everyone's critical rate than he is directly inflicting what damage he can. Okay, if it bleeds or focus on the commander. I'm going to go with if it bleeds. I can two-shot it with if it bleeds. Jester stick with Battle Ballad. And the Leper stick with Chop. One good critical from the Leper will end the Bone Commander. Unfortunately, a stray hit risks ending the Antiquarian now.
Terrible vistas of emptiness reveal themselves.
If it bleeds... Okay, that's one down. That leaves just the Commander. This being a critical could do it, but it's not a critical. Well, I can't exactly call my critical, can I? Got the Antiquarian off of Death's door, and he didn't target the Antiquarian anyway. On the other hand, everybody is starting to look a little messed up. Right. Slice Off will only do 3 to 5. Battle Ballad is the better choice.
Their cursed
But
champion
we still don't get a
falls.
critical. Okay, I could have dropped the supply items for the crests, but I didn't know that. Anyway, let's return to the hamlet with our loot before we manage to lose it somehow.
Hall by hall, we reclaim what is ours.
And that's the kind of loot numbers I like to see. 16,345 gold. This is why we keep the antiquarians around. Decent stack of heirlooms, too. And a champion level Hellion. And after being the main healer, the antiquarian became a bad healer. I guess she figured. I guess this mission caused her to discover that healing just
There
isn't
is
for
a great
her.
horror beneath the manor. A crawling chaos that must be destroyed.
Alright. Okay, the stress levels are managed except for the noobs. The noobs, their stress levels are not managed. Alright. Let's treat the people... Oh, right, the flagellants will only flagellate. But since I also have people I need to treat who have the Crimson Curse, the flagellants are just going to have to wait. Okay. Got some stress treatment going. Let's see, how close am I to being able to get either of these upgrades? Not close enough. I need to wait another mission. Okay, so let's look into upgrading what we can of these heroes. Let's see. Gale's weapons stand to be upgraded, and the next thing I want to do, also with Gale... Okay, his abilities are also as high as they can get. Right, I don't have the... What would it take to get the ability, the Instructor Mastery to its final level? 33 portraits. We're only 30 portraits short of being able to do that. That's also not something I can do this week. Let's see. So... I'm already thinking about who I might bring if I were to go after the Viscount again. And the team that's looking appealing to me is Clarinel, Gale, Dismas, and Tornabut. So I have a decent amount of mark exploitation and just a solidly good front line. So let's focus on upgrading them. Clarinel is already maxed out. So Tornabut learn Cry Havoc and put a couple of points into it. Dismas is good. And yeah, Gale is good. So let's max out Cry Havoc. And Clarinel is actually maxed out on everything. Okay, so that's the people I specifically want to send to the courtyard. Let's look into upgrading everyone else. Let's see. Upgrade Mortimer. And let's upgrade Fontamai. And at 10,000 gold, I'm going to hold on to what I have because it's extremely unlikely that the courtyard mission that I'm about to embark on is going to end in success, so I'm going to need to have some gold to fund another mission afterward in case this goes as horribly wrong as I frankly expect it to. Okay, so we got Judgment, Dazzling Light, Divine Grace, and Divine Comfort for Vestal. Place her in position 4. Got Gale in position 1 with Chop, Hue, Purge, and Solemnity. Got Tornabut in position 2 with Hound's Rush, Target Whistle, Trade Lick Wounds for Cry Havoc, and Blackjack, because we need some kind of stress management. And Dismas in position 3 with Pistol Shot, Grape Shot Blast, Tracking Shot, and Open Vein. Okay, now for the equipment. As usual, unequip all and sort. And... I'm gonna go with the Sacred Scroll. And... I'm gonna combine that with Junia's Head. Just get all... max the Vestal out on healing. I realize that means I'm not going to be able to do very good damage or healing. The Stalwart Buckle is plus 5% critical. And then... Actually... Let me see. So the Steady Bracer increases the accuracy of range abilities. Do I have anything that's good for damage of range abilities? Let me see. I'll just give him an... no, I'm not going to give him the Steady Bracer because the Houndmaster is getting the Steady Bracer, so... I'll give him Dismas's Head. Dismas is equipping Dismas's Head. And in fact, I'm going to combine that with a Worry Stone to deal with the extra stress effect. So yes, Dismas is equipping... Dismas has his own head in a bag. Okay, for the Houndmaster, let's see. Yeah, I'll go with the combination of the evidence of corruption and the scouting whistle. Wait, the scouting whistle is not part of the set. That's something else. So... I'm still keeping the evidence of corruption, and I'll just combine that with the steady bracer. No damage boost, but the accuracy boost is very nice. For Gale, we get the Berserk Mask and the Redemption Armlet. Just going all in on... Actually, I shouldn't combine those two, because the Leper really needs something to boost his accuracy. He gets a Warrior's Cap. See, I can learn from my mistakes. Okay. Provision, it will consume 1 invitation, but we have 2. I'm going to bring as many vials of the blood as I can fit into 1 stack. Some food, some torches, but not a lot. Some shovels. Plenty of anti-venom, and plenty of bandages. A handful of keys. A little holy water. And this leaves us with enough money that we can, fund another mission if this goes tits up somehow. Which it probably will. Yeah, let's bring that up to 12. We can't camp, but 3 hunger checks should be enough. The Viscount has set the table. Yeah, and he's already, the Houndmaster is already craving. Let's just fix that. And he's now into bloodlust. I'm going the wrong direction, because I got turned around. And because I'm going the wrong direction, someone has been gravely nibbled. Okay, target whistle on the ghoul. This is the same strategy as at the end of the last mission, basically. The difference is everything is higher level now. Alright. For a nice big heal on Dismas. Heal on the maggots, and this time it didn't get rid of both of them. Pistol shot will do 11 to 20, and it did 11. And your punishment for that Dismas is that you will be gravely nibbled. Hound's Rush. See, 23. Those are the kinds of damage numbers you should be getting against marked targets. Grape Shot Blast to get rid of the maggots.
The enemy crumbles.
Even though that doesn't exploit Mark. And of course it manages to get off 1 howl that affects everyone.
The birthplace of dread.
And that may be more than 1, depending on how long it takes for me to finish this thing.
A momentary
Still going for the heal, at least getting the health levels to be full. Blood for all! Blood for the blood god!
Champion falls.
Okay. There we go.
These
Let's get out of there.
Creatures can be felled. They can be beaten.
Okay, let's continue. Let's try to continue where we left off and try to avoid being horribly murdered. I mean, this is Darkest Dungeon, so try to avoid being horribly murdered really is an impossible task. But we can at least try. This is, I believe, the penultimate Crimson Court mission. After this, we just have to take on the Countess. And that will just end the Crimson... I even had scouting about that trap.
Lie in wait, unsprung and thirsting for blood.
And the first thing it does is the thirst, because of course it is. Okay, let's go with Open Vein, which is meaningless if it doesn't hit. Okay, this thing has low stun resistance, so Dazzling Light is good for it. Gather the blood, and on someone who doesn't have the Crimson Curse. And you moved so that you now have less ability to damage the enemy. Just move back. Chop has a very small chance to one-shot, but a very high chance to two-shot. Let's just go with Grape Shot Blast won't kill. Open Vein will.
Continue the onslaught.
Use the ability that will remove one of the enemies immediately. Get some healing in there. And Hound's Rush. Not a kill, but at least progress. then Chop pretty much won't kill. And, yep, we have a second hero with Crimson Curse. Well, a second one on this team, that is. A definite wine. That's actually good news because it means it's healing itself. I was hoping for Grape Shot Blast to look really cool and wipe out the entire enemy team, but it was not to be. Judgment, because we need that thing gone before it attacks.
Compassion is a rarity in the fevered pitch of battle.
And the good news is we've already found heirlooms. We may, over the course of this mission, find enough heirlooms to get one of the final upgrades for either the guild or the blacksmith. Either would make this mission worth it, even if we return with no loot and just have to live with the 6,000 gold that I left in the coffers at the end. Eliminating either, or fully upgrading either the blacksmith or the guild would make up for that. Okay, that isn't good. Alright, just gonna move the Vestal back. Okay, pistol shot can't one-shot anything, but there's not a lot else that Dismas can do right now. So let's start by softening up the manservant. Gather the blood on Gale this time. Have a plan. Target whistle on the Chevalier. Will also reduce its protection. Hugh should get rid of the manservant. And that also reduces the supplicant to one-shot range, but this means we need to endure buried blasts and subterranean skewers for a turn. Actually, for more than a turn. Okay. Dismas is only bleeding for 3. That could be worse. Right. Divine Grace. Fix Dismas up a little bit. Hound's Rush. Probably should have used a dog treat, but I mean, he can two-shot the Chevaliers without one. Now it's just a matter of surviving everything that they do to us until they finish dying. Unfortunately, they're doing a lot to us. Chop will get rid of the supplicant. Or it won't. Chop will attempt to get rid of the supplicant. Alright, bandage. And pistol shot, get rid of that Chevalier. Okay, finally some good news. One of them is gone. Bandage. And this is a huge risk, but I'm actually going to go with Judgment to get rid of the Supplicant instead of healing. Since Clarinel is the last one we get to attack. Since that guarantees that we don't have to deal with the Supplicant this time. Alright, target whistle on the other Chevalier. He's pretty much done. Which means I don't want to use Purge yet. Because then he won't be in range of pistol shot. We have to deal with one last subterranean skewer. Pistol shot. Followed that up with Hound's Rush. And because of low damage rolls, it still isn't a kill. Okay, bandage and Divine Grace on the Vestal. It is nice to be using a Vestal instead of one of the other healing classes like the Occultist or the Antiquarian, because you can have guaranteed big healing numbers. Alright, now we need Purge.
The blood quickens.
And Dismas can get back into formation. Tournament can kill the Chevalier. Okay, bandage the Vestal.
Mount, so too will resistance.
We are way more damaged than we really ought to be after our first battle. Drawing Hive, get some loot.
If only treasure could staunch the flow of otherworldly corruption.
Tin Flute. What should I do want this. The question is what to drop for it. And the answer is the medicinal herbs. Especially the combo ability where he has plus 15 accuracy if his health is above a certain amount. I'll also drop the holy water in exchange for the other vial of the blood, though in hindsight I probably should have gone with the rubies. But we're in the courtyard, we already have multiple people with the Crimson Curse. I want a healthy blood supply. Okay. We don't actually have scouting for this, we only have pretend scouting. Which means danger could lurk around any corner. Or there could be no danger at all here, though I gotta admit the ambient sounds have left me real creeped out. What do we got here? Throbbing cocoons. Oh, stress relief. Good, we need that. Big stress relief, too. Okay, and then another area of guaranteed safety. First we have a trap to disarm. Comes out to the highwayman. He's always good at that kind of thing. And a damned fountain. I'm guessing that's gotten rid of by the holy water I just got rid of. I also need to use the dog treats soon. Okay, the scouting is leading us back down. I have a feeling that the route I took was unnecessarily long. Okay, this is what I was thinking of when I used the shovel on the urn in the other place. You use shovels on blood flowers. Again, I don't really have anything I'm comfortable dropping, even for this much of a reward. Though I'm not sure how I can never seem to remember how useful keys actually are here. Okay, this is a straightforward-ish fight to have to deal with. Alright, Hound's Rush. Should have probably just gone with the dog treats. Grape Shot Blast. Vein is 79% chance. Okay, Open Vein actually is the best bet for hitting one of these, and it doesn't.
The flesh is knit.
Chop. Chop is not guaranteed to one-shot. Hew is guaranteed not to one-shot. So I may as well go with the one that at least can one-shot. But no, we don't manage to eliminate any of them before they get to act. Okay, and we've been spamming the thirst to regain the health that we just took away from it, and now 3 heroes have the Crimson Curse. Okay. Now they're just all going... Oh, come on. It is just not Dismas' day. Hound's Rush on the one with the fewest hit points. Divine Grace on the one with the fewest hit points. This time on our side, though. A Grape Shot Blast could kill, or it could miss everything. That's another thing that it can do. That's something that it can always do. Remember, missing is always an option. I mean, I've literally never seen an attack be stated to have 100% accuracy. A Deafening Whine is not the thirst. That is good. 100 stress is not good, though. Refracted? That's new, and there's apparently an achievement for having that happen to you. Let's go with Divine Comfort, since I can't heal business. That's odd. So one of the effects of that affliction is that... So one of the effects of being refracted is that he ignores stealth. Another effect is that he sometimes refuses to be healed.
Paramount, at any cost.
Alright, Hound's Rush. And of course now I get a critical for 21 when I don't need it, but let's get rid of that sycophant. Colors ebb and flow and I go with them. Only if you agree to a state funeral. Yep, more dysfunction among the teams. But that's... I have limited blood, spend it wisely. Another bombing run. Okay, may as well bandage the Vestal. Just gonna go all in with Divine Grace on the Vestal. Hound's Rush. Not the kind of damage I would have liked. Okay, may as well use the last of the bandages on the leper. Okay, I was really hoping that would kill, but... And that... Dismas has yet to inflict damage in this fight. No wonder he's afflicted. I'd be stressed too if I kept missing every single time I tried to shoot something. Yeah, the leper is stunned. Even if my flesh is undone, my color remains. Alright, let's have the Vestal heal herself then. Honestly, I probably should have choose Judgment on the 3 HP Sycophant. Okay, pistol shot. Okay, we're rid of one Sycophant. Let's just leave this last one. Okay. So...
A trifling victory. But a victory nonetheless.
We went into that battle mostly fine except for some damage, and we came out of that battle with 3 people afflicted. Or 2 people afflicted and 1 close. Okay, that reduced his stress by a lot less than I thought it would. Okay, which way to go? I'm gonna go this way. I'm betting that this room connects to this room over here, and I just took an unnecessarily long route. Also, 2 people afflicted. So is this going to give me any I was wondering, is this going to give me any further information about the refracted status? Nope, it just says that his affliction is refracted, which is clearly added by the Color of Madness DLC. It seems like it's kind of like how the Flagellant's afflicted status can have positive effects in addition to having negative ones. I think it works the same way here. Where... while he occasionally refuses healing and occasionally passes his turn, he also completely ignores stealth. Okay, just gonna tell you guys, you should probably prepare yourselves. You are probably all about to die. We're dealing with a Chevalier again, and he's backed up by manservants who can potentially use infallible servitude. Okay, but they're idiots and they're using it on each other. That's helpful. Alright, step 1, find out if you can heal Dismas. Okay, failing that... become afflicted. Yep, paranoid. Yep, the Vestal is paranoid.
The walls close in. The shadows whisper of conspiracy.
Okay. Failing your ability to heal the Highwayman, dazzle the Chevalier, and failed to do anything. Okay. He's craving for blood. Let's give him some blood. Let's get him up to bloodlust. And let's give him dog treats. And I'm not going to worry about marking the target this time. I'm just going to see if I can damage race him. I am about to regret this, aren't I? I already regret that decision. Okay, let's go with Hugh on the manservant so I can hit both of them, even if it's going to take a couple of hits. And Dismas is passing his turn again. That affliction is bad. That's actually a very seriously damaging... That's a very seriously damaging affliction, is refracted. The only positive seems to be that it ignores stealth. Okay, this time you get to heal Dismas. He'll let you heal him off of Death's Door. Okay, now the manservant is going for the first. Right, stick with Hound's Rush, because the issue is... the Houndmaster can no longer combo with Dismas because Dismas isn't guaranteed to be able to take an action. So he needs to work. He needs to kind of take care of himself a bit. Okay, that's one manservant gone. Okay. Pistol shot, and there we go. Even without him being marked. Just go with a little bit of healing for everyone. Okay, just the minions left. Just a minion left. And of course it decides to avenge its fallen comrade. It succeeds too. Okay, make the sycophant bleed and chop it down. And who here is surprised that Chop missed? I know I'm not. So the big heal on the Houndmaster because he's bleeding for a lot with no means of fixing that. Okay, we made it through. I expected to
This
lose some
expedition
people
at
on
least
that one.
promises success.
I was expecting that to go a lot more wrong than it went. Okay, loot, but we're probably going to have to come back this way when we have more, empty inventory spaces. Okay, the wizened shrew, and I've been informed that these things actually accept the blood. And it gave me the Ancestor's Signet Ring. Normally I'd have to go through an extra hard, long mission. Instead I got an Ancestral Trinket for free. I'll just drop the Onyx for that. The Heaven's Hairpin and the Speed Stone, those I'm okay with losing. Wow, I didn't realize the rewards for doing that were that good. I guess the blood is even more valuable than I thought. Okay, and we venture into the unknown again. I wonder how many afflictions it's going to take for me to decide that we need to retreat. And a large flesh eater. Target whistle reduces protection. Alright, I'm gonna go for it this time. Also, let's take a moment to appreciate that Gale is, once again, the only member of his team not to have the Crimson Curse. Of course, he is also about to have a heart attack. Pistol shot. 13 to 22. Or nothing. It could do nothing also. Alright, Chop has a very small chance to one-shot the Sycophant. Okay, so the uninjured Sycophant is going through the thirst. It could be a lot worse than that. And Tournament's Resolve is tested, and he's fearful. Okay, the entire team is afflicted now. Each step lands deeper in this world of nightmare. Yeah, that's a fairly fair description. Okay, I'm gonna quick treat the Vesper with blood. And then I'm just gonna have her heal. Heal the people who will accept your healing. The Highwayman doesn't need healing anyway. And Tentacle Devour. Okay, that missed. That probably would have put him at death's door if it hadn't missed. Okay. And as usual, the leper's accuracy leaves quite a bit to be desired. Bombing run does not inflict stress damage. That is good. Heal the leopard, so we no longer have the bandages. Hound's Rush might finish the job. There we go. Okay, that leaves just the Sycophant.
No intrinsic merit.
I'm actually going to go with Hue this time.
Exsanguination be considered a virtue.
That eliminates one. And Open Vein. Yeah, it didn't cause bleeding. Which means we have to deal with that thing for one more turn. Unless Judgment can get it. And Judgment also can't get it. Because this is Darkest Dungeon, and the game hates me personally.
And power.
Who am I kidding? Darkest Dungeon hates us all equally.
Triumphant pride precipitates a dizzying fall.
Oh. Okay. It looks like we are making our way to the other side of the blue door. Suggesting that, like the last one, this door is just backtracking, which means that I can avoid it. Okay, I'm going to risk this room battle. I really wish I could, like, save first, but I'm going to take the risk. Honestly, this is probably a terrible mistake. It was a terrible mistake. Okay, heal Gale for now.
In the fevered pitch of battle.
Target whistle on one of the Chevaliers. This is definitely the right time for the other dog tree. Health-wise, we're all doing okay. The issue is mostly Gale's stress level. Now, the good news is this enemy team does not have any abilities that directly cause stress. The problem is we have several afflictions that cause stress, as you can see. Okay, and Dismas is already having a bad day.
The will to fight.
And there we go. On the first round, before he even gets a chance to do anything, he has had a heart attack. Sorry, Solemnity.
Heroism or cowardice.
Okay, we're retreating. We're not going to win.
Wise general cuts losses and regroups.
But since no one was at death's door, there was no risk of heart attacks. But if the stress levels weren't approaching 200 across the board, we would be able to win that fight. But we're just going to have bouncing heart attacks if we try to confront that group right now. So we've made progress, but we need to regroup. And again, the heroes won't really suffer the stress of defeat because they're already maxed out.
Fire that tempers.
Though we made 4,500 gold, which is a good job of at least making up the expenses of this mission. So we've covered the cost of the mission. We made some progress. We found a unique trinket, and quite a few heirlooms also. Okay, and the new quirks are mostly negative, though we have one positive so far. And we only got one positive and a whole bunch of negative quirks.
In time, you will know the tragic extent of my failings.
Okay. Let's see. So, to get the final level of instructor mastery, I need 28 portraits. I can get 4 by trading away all of my busts. That does not bode well. And 7 by trading all of my deeds. That's not enough. If I were also to trade away my shards, 4 plus 7 is 13, plus 11 is 24, plus some... No, I actually just straight up do not have enough heirlooms to get the final level of Instructor Mastery. I'm close, but I'm not quite there. For the final level of Armor Smithing, I need 21 deeds. I can get 8 by trading away all of my busts, and 6 by trading away some portraits. So I'll start by doing that. That brings me up to 37, and then I can make up for the rest with crests. And I can finally get the highest level of armor smithing. That's actually likely to make a very large difference in a few weeks when we have enough money to actually afford those kinds of upgrades. But in the future, being able to send champions in with level 5 armor instead of level 4 armor is going to make a big difference. Anyway, after this collection of misadventures and shenanigans, this is going to be the end for this episode. Thank you all for watching, I love you all, and I will see you next time.